Joining me now is Canada's former ambassador to the United Nations, Alan Rock, and lots of other titles too, but we'll give you that one for today. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So the Canadian government says that it has asked Aung San Suu Kyi to stop the violence. They've pledged humanitarian aid. Those are the kinds of measures they've taken. But you think they should do more. What would you like to see?
What we're watching in slow motion is a genocide taking place in Myanmar, nothing less. So I think Canada should use its weight at the United Nations to make a fuss, to encourage other countries of similar mind to join with Canada in a coalition, put pressure on the Security Council, demand that action be taken, that sanctions be considered or imposed, that other steps be taken to get the attention of the government of Myanmar. I mean, we're talking about 1 million lives being at stake. Already 145,000 have fled the country. The rest are living in very difficult circumstances, facing violence conducted by Myanmar's military. It's a major human rights catastrophe, and so I think Canada should do whatever it can to draw further attention to it and demand that it be stopped.
You compare it to the situation, the conflict in Kosovo. What is the similarity there?
Well, it's just striking that it was 20 years ago right now that we were looking at the ethnic cleansing in Kosovo when Muslims were under attack. And Canada led a coalition at that time, which through NATO stopped it by a bombing campaign. Now, I'm not suggesting that's the right answer here, but I'm suggesting, Lloyd and I are suggesting, that Canada can take a page from that book and talk about putting together a coalition of countries who just won't stand for this. I mean, we can't sit by and watch it happen, Rosemary. It's just not moral. We have a terrific team at the UN. Ambassador Blanchard and his team in New York are outstanding people. And I guess what we're saying is that this ought to be moved to the top of the agenda, and Canada should use its unique opportunity, weight, to get behind a movement to stop it.
What about Aung San Suu Kyi and the fact that she is an honorary Canadian citizen? She is a Nobel Peace Prize winner. First of all, are you in any way surprised that she seems to be turning a blind eye to this particular persecution?
I share the general surprise, shock, and disdain. I mean, I supported her very strongly when she was under house arrest and opposing the military rulers of Myanmar. Now that she's in de facto position of power, she seems to have turned away from all of that, and I'm not sure whether she's afraid of offending the military, thinking that they might reemerge and displace her.
Sure.
It's a very complicated situation with the state of Rakhine. There's a long, complex, and difficult history. The Muslims in that part of the country have always been second-class citizens if they've been allowed citizenship at all.
That's right.
So it's a hot-button issue in Myanmar. I understand that. But surely a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize should not associate herself with the kind of savagery that's going on in that state. And what Lloyd and I have suggested is
Lloyd Axworthy.
Lloyd Axworthy and I have suggested is that we should petition the Nobel Committee to revoke the Nobel Peace Prize. It doesn't belong in her hands if this is the way she's going to use her present authority.
And what about the Canadian citizenship as well?
I think that too is in doubt. We accorded that citizenship as a special honor given to only a handful of people because of the exceptional courage she'd shown in defense of human rights. And now she's doing just the opposite. I can see a strong argument that she ought not to be an honorary citizen of this country. She doesn't bring credit to Canada, not by what she's doing at present.
Is there, as you say, this has been going on for some time, and these people persecuted for some time and stateless in many ways. Is there some benefit, at least, to the spotlight now? It seems we're talking about it in a way we haven't before. So there's got to be some benefit to that, I would imagine.
Well, it's a very optimistic view, but I don't share that optimism, frankly. Kofi Annan just did a report of a commission, a special commission appointed by the government of Myanmar, of an international panel to look into the circumstances in Rakhine State. He made a number of recommendations that would overcome some of the barriers to equity. I mean, Muslims in that state are not citizens of Myanmar for the most part. They have no access to basic sanitation, education, or health care. The poverty levels in that state are twice, 3 times what they are in Myanmar generally. It's not benefiting from the improvement in Myanmar that came with the reintroduction of democracy. So it's a dreadful situation of which the current violence is just the most pointed and the most urgent symptom. So I think there's a lot of work to do in that state, and I understand that there's state sovereignty and we have to respect what goes on inside a country's borders, but In 2005, the world agreed unanimously that we would not stand by and watch a sovereign state kill its own people. That's what's happening there. And that's why I think we must speak up and we must act, and among other things, provide humanitarian support to the hundreds of thousands of Muslims who've fled that state and gone to Bangladesh. The World Food Program is having trouble keeping up with the demands there.
Okay. Alan Rock, good of you to make the passionate plea. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.